Good day everyone, it's Jovelyn Salabe. For today's discussion, we will discuss about the core principles underlying fairness, accountability, and transparency in business operation and stewardship. So we have here the learning objectives. First, define the concepts of fairness, accountability, and transparency in the context of business operation and stewardship. Explain the importance of fairness, accountability, and transparency in promoting ethical and responsible business practices. Identify examples of how businesses apply fairness, accountability, and transparency in decision-making, management, and stakeholder relations. Analyze the effects of these principles on employee trust, customer confidence, and organizational reputation. So let's proceed. In today's business landscape, fairness, accountability, and transparency are essential principles that guide organizational behavior and decision-making. These principles are crucial for building trust, fostering a positive reputation, and ensuring long-term sustainability. By embracing fairness, accountability, and transparency, organizations can promote a culture of integrity, responsibility, and openness, ultimately contributing to their success and the well-being of their stakeholders. Fairness, accountability, and transparency are essential in various aspects of life, including governance, decision-making, business, and any organizations here in our community. So why is it important? So let's find it out. So what is fairness? So fairness in business ethics means treating all stakeholders, such as employees, customers, suppliers, shareholders, equitably, impartially, and justly, avoiding bias or favoritism in decisions like hiring, pricing, or compensation, and ensuring responsibilities and benefits are distributed appropriately. So when we say fairness, from the word itself, fair means no bias or favoritism in all your decisions, especially in business. So it's about fair or equal treatment in managing your business, especially to all your stakeholders. We have here the core principles of fairness: impartiality and unbiased judgment, making decisions without favoritism or discrimination, treating like cases alike. So in making decision, you have to make your decision fairly and evenly without bias. First, we have balancing interest, considering the needs and impacts on all stakeholders involved in a decision. So you have to treat fairly all stakeholders or the people involved in a decision of your business. Next is equity, not always equality, recognizing that fairness might mean different treatments based on need, contribution, or effort, not just identical treatment. Fairness is not always equality, so it means the different treatments must be based on the amount of contribution or effort that they or you share. Lastly, we have the rule application, applying established rules, laws, or criteria appropriately and consistently. So it means you have to apply all rules and laws fairly. So here's the examples of fairness. First, a boss listening to both sides of the story before judging who is right and who is wrong. So listening to both sides shows fairness. Second, we have an employer giving 13-month pay to all his or her employees. So it shows equal treatment to the employees. Third, we have a person paying the right price for a product purchase or for a service received. So it shows fairness between the customer and the business owner. Next, we have accountability. Accountability means taking ownership of your actions, decisions, and their outcomes, being answerable for them to stakeholders, and demonstrating ethical conduct like transparency, honesty, and compliance with rules, even when things go wrong. It's about owning successes and failures, explaining why and how, and being subject to judgment or consequences, fostering trust, improving performance, and ensuring ethical standards are met beyond just following the law. So when we say accountability, it's about honoring all your actions, decisions, and the outcomes of your work. It is being responsible to all your work and accept all your successes and failures or mistakes. Here's the core principles of accountability. First, we have responsibility for actions. So it means being responsible of all your actions, decisions, behavior, and outcomes. And you are willing to accept all your outcomes of your work, whether it's positive or negative. Second, we have integrity and stewardship. So it is being responsible in managing business to prevent waste in organizational assets. Lastly, we have answerability, being willing to explain and justify actions, especially when you made mistakes. Examples of accountability, we have first, a cashier admits he or she lost the company's collection and it is his or her mistake. So admitting the mistakes is one of accountability. Second, we have an engineer who is assigned on a project is the one to be blamed if the project did not meet the deadlines. The project is assigned to the engineer, so expected that he or she is the one to be blamed. Third example, we have employee A recommended his cousin to be their company janitor, but the latter stole the cellular phone of their secretary. Therefore, employee A may be blamed for recommending his or her cousin and should pay or replace the lost cell phone. So the employee A is accountable to that situation. Lastly, we have transparency. Transparency in business is the practice of openly and honestly sharing relevant company information, processes, and decisions with stakeholders to build trust, accountability, and better engagement, covering areas like goals, finances, challenges, and performance. It means being clear about how the business operates, both successes and failures, enabling informed decisions and fostering loyalty without necessarily revealing sensitive trade secrets. So transparency is being honest and open to share the business information, processes, and decisions, especially with your stakeholders. It allows business owners to clear and clarify how the business operates and enable to inform decision regarding to their business. Now we have the core principles of transparency. First is the openness of information. Provide clear, accurate, and timely information about operations, policies, and financial status. So you must inform stakeholders about the situation of the business. Second, we have clear communication. We have to ensure if all the stakeholders understand the business processes, decisions, and the changes that affects them. Lastly, we have the disclosure of conflicts and risk. If ever that we have conflicts and issues in the business, we must inform all the stakeholders in the organization, especially if it affects them. Examples of transparency, we have reporting accurately the company's financial situation and risk to investors. So the way we report the financial situation, it shows transparency. Second, we have holding and selecting bids according to an open predefined process. So in every decision we've made, we have to inform and share it to all the stakeholders involved in the business. And lastly, we have having an open process of decision making, such as in hiring additional employees. So an open process of decision making, it shows transparency in business. So here's the importance of our discussion. Upholding fairness, accountability, and transparency in business operations foster trust, strengthens stakeholders' relationship, and ensures ethical decision making. These principles guide companies toward responsible practices, enhance credibility, and support sustainable growth, making them essential for long-term success in today's competitive and socially conscious business environment. So the core principles of fairness, accountability, and transparency is essential not just for a business but for any organizations. Not just to foster trust, but to strengthen the relationship of the members of the organization. It also guides us in making decisions in business and in any organization. So that's our discussion all about. I hope you learned something and have a nice day.